Hey everyone, Sparks back with another Goddess Victory Nikke video, and it's time to take a look at Rumani's kit. I've been looking forward to this girl since I saw her in the very first week of Nikke's launch. I'm a big fan of the gym girl aesthetic. The good news is your gems are probably safe, however your butt might not be. So let's go ahead and take a look at what she actually does. She is a Burst 1 defender with a rocket launcher code Fire. I wouldn't have seen code Fire coming. I don't know, she just naturally seems water because she's blue. Whatever, I mean, I guess she's heating up at the gym. Rocket launchers are always worth looking at no matter what they do, just because their burst generation is so insane. So let's see if that's actually going to be relevant. Now, she does have an ammo capacity that's a standard of 6, reload time of 1.82 seconds. Again, all pretty standard stuff. Attack damage is 56% and charge time is 1 second. So let's take a look at her actual skills. The first one, actually, you know what? Let's take a step back here really quick. Before I actually read the text of her skills, when I looked at her kit, before I even read anything, the first thing that came to mind is that she looks like a launch unit, okay? I was looking forward to her since launch, and it looks like she's kind of still there, unfortunately, just by how much text is in the description of her skills. If you look at the skill list of like our most recent units here, and honestly units we've been getting for the last like 6 months to a year, you can just see the wall of text that is on these skills. Rumani is way more simple and much more comparable to what we would see with the amount of effects that her skills are having compared to other units that came out at launch. So just keep that in mind. Whatever she does better be good because she's not doing a lot. So activates when attacking with full charge, affects self. Now this is very modern design. We're getting a full charge effect. They're always pushing that nowadays. Muscle up, max HP goes up by 3% and stacks up to 5 times and lasts for 2 seconds. Okay. Also activates when hitting a target with full charge during full burst, affects the target taunt for 5 seconds. All right, so we have a taunter. She's a defender. That means she could be useful potentially against, certain bosses and potentially in PvP as well. She is increasing her max HP. However, 3% stacking 5 times, and this is at max level, by the way. So, I mean, you can get up to 15% more HP. Stacks only last for 2 seconds though, so I mean, if she has to reload, I mean, you could do reload buff shenanigans, but she's probably going to lose those stacks as soon as she reloads. Because, the reload is going to be 1.8 seconds, and then full charge is going to take another second. So yeah, unless you can reduce that charge time and reload time by quite a bit, she's going to lose those every time she has to reload, which is unfortunate. So I don't know. Kind of a mid skill here, maybe not so great. Skill 2 says muscle time. What time is it? Muscle time. All right. Activates when hitting a target's parts 5 times. Affects all allies. Damage to parts goes up by 10% for 5 seconds. Okay, damage to parts can definitely be useful against certain bosses. That's a really, really good effect. Against other bosses, it just doesn't do anything. Obviously, in Arena, it doesn't do anything, but Arena doesn't do anything for us in general. Who cares about Arena, right? But I think the real problem here is that if we're trying to do damage to parts with some kind of like supporting unit, we already have a way better damage to parts unit in the form of Summer Rosanna. Now, she is a burst 2. You could theoretically use both of these and use that with Summer Sakura too. But I mean, I think you're just getting really cute there. And then you don't have any cooldown reduction, right? But yeah, I don't know. I mean, damage to parts is not bad. You can also do shenanigans with Snow White, but I think we have a much better way of doing this. Now, granted, Summer Rosanna is a limited unit, whereas anybody can pick up Rumani right now, so maybe, but I don't think that's really a reason to pull for her. Okay, let's see what her burst skill is. Now, the good news is she's a 20-second cooldown, okay? If she was a 40-second cooldown, she just automatically doesn't really matter what she does, right? She's just dead. But 20-second cooldown is very good, so she can be our only burst 1. Let's see what that burst actually does. Affects self, max HP goes up by 15% for 10 seconds, okay. Affects all allies, normal attack damage multiplier up 10% for 10 seconds. Okay. Attack damage multiplier is really, really good. That's like basically the best point that we can have in the damage formula. And for 10 seconds, that's going to be good. The problem with that is it's normal attack. So this isn't going to affect any skills. So any, attacking skills that any of your units have are just like not going to benefit from this. So, the reality is most of your damage is going to come from the skills, not normal attacks. So even though this is a really good buff, it's not buffing what we want to buff, right? If this was just an attack multiplier up 10% for everything for 10 seconds, that would be kind of insane. But for normal attacks, it just like it isn't really that relevant. Also says activates when muscle up is fully stacked. So that is the stack she gets from full charge from her skill 1. Affects self, damage taken goes down 20% for 10 seconds. Okay, so this is really good actually because she is a taunter. So with her defense buff giving her a little bit of survivability and then the damage taken down 20%, that's going to be really good. So she should actually survive pretty well, but she doesn't have any kind of healing. So as a taunter, even though she will be pretty durable, I'm pretty sure, with this damage taken down effect, ultimately she is going to die at some point, right? Because I don't see anything in here that actually says she heals. So, this would need to be combined with some other kind of healer. And then so like, I don't know, you could use like Naga, Rapunzel, but when you take a look at like other taunters, you have like Noise that has built-in healing, and then just I feel like this is kind of an effect that we don't really use nowadays in the game, because we've had plenty of units that have actually had really, really strong survivability and taunting effects, such as Nero or Moran, and they survive a lot. But do we really need them? Like, not really, So even though she's going to survive better than some of these like old taunters that would just like die as soon as they started taunting, I just don't know if we really need that effect. And like I said, I feel like Noise is just straight up better taunting. Now, granted, Noise has a longer cooldown reduction, so I mean, Rumani's going to be better from that respect. But still, the other thing is she has no cooldown reduction, right? And we have so many good burst ones with CDR. It's like you can't really justify using a unit that doesn't have CDR in the burst 1 slot. I mean, we've got like Rouge recently. Of course, we got Leader, Privity, Volume even, Double D. There's just so many good options. You could use her with a burst 2, such as Dola or Summer Helm. But I don't know, like, what are you doing there? I mean, you could kind of try and get cute and do like a, damage to parts boss kind of build with Snow White using like Dola and Rumani. That's kind of scuffed, honestly. I mean, the reality is that like some players won't have all the units, so maybe there are still like things that you could do here, but you're just kind of doing like subpar versions of things you could do a lot better in other ways. So the other potential is like PvP, right? But of course her skill 2 just does nothing because of the damage to parts. There's no parts in PvP, if you even care about PvP at this point. Now, like I said at the very beginning, rocket launchers inherently have value based on their burst generation. So her burst generation will probably actually be pretty insane. We saw from her animation, she does have the correct kind of reload to have really, really high burst generation. So, when you consider that even like SR Original Anise is used in Arena, Rumani could just be a decent burst charge unit that will make it into PvP, because the name of the game there is just, burst as fast as possible and then wipe them with someone like Scarlet or Ray or something like that. So honestly, Rumani might just have inherent arena value because of that, because, she's going to be better than like Original Anise, right? Even if her skill 2 isn't doing anything, and like maybe slightly worse than Senti, things like that. But I don't know, so I could actually see her getting play because of that. So keep that in mind. So I don't know. I'm still going to pull for her because I'm pretty well set for Anniversary. I'm not really stressed on resources thanks to the generous donations of people contributing to the anniversary fund, as well as all of the gold tickets I've spent. So I will definitely do at least some polls for her. I'm going to try and get one copy. Like I said, I've been looking forward to this character for a long time, and I always say play with the units you like. That's, how you're going to have fun with the game. Not everything needs to be like a super meta unit. And actually, she may be kind of a meta unit just because of the burst generation for Arena. So yeah. Let me know if you're planning to pull for her. Are you disappointed? Are you just happy that we're getting a little bit of a break right before anniversary? Because I know people are hurting. People are going to want to try and pull for Cinderella. In theory, it could not be Cinderella, but we know it's going to be a Cinderella, right? But anyway, whatever anniversary unit is, we want to have resources for that. So at least it gives people a short break if you're not trying to pull for a Rumani. But I know there's got to be at least a few other die-hard fans out there for Rumani. And yeah, all right, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you have your ticket or pass ready, and I'll catch you guys in the next video or stream.